everyone, and welcome to Delmere, the first City Skyline series on my channel. It's something that I've been planning for a pretty long time now, so I'm really excited to finally get this out there. The primary inspiration for the city is going to be Vancouver, which seems to be pretty much everyone's favorite city at this point. And I definitely wanted to have that kind of feel. That's why I've gone for this map, with the snow-capped mountains coming right up to the coast, as Vancouver does. But even in terms of the city itself, it's going to have a lot of those high-rise condos, give it that real city of glass kind of vibe, and have it be a very uniformly tall city, um, like Vancouver is, and not a spike rising out of the landscape. Uh, as most other North American cities tend to be. However, that's not to say there aren't parts of Vancouver I didn't like, and most of them tended to revolve around the road layout of the city. For starters, Vancouver has one of the largest grid layouts I've ever seen, and I find this very boring. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do, and I wanted to do away with those. On top of that, Vancouver is unique in North America for having no highways running through it. Uh, but that's not something I really wanted. I did want a highway network in the city, but ideally without the drawbacks that come with it. Most North American cities built freeways, destroyed neighborhoods in the process, and I wanted to find a way around that. And for that, I turned to a bunch of European cities. And I essentially went through all of these cities, picked out the most interesting road layouts from them, and stitched them together to create my own sort of plan for the road layout of the city. It does mean it's not a truly authentic European road layout. It's not going to have the tiny pedestrianized city centers that most of them tend to have, but it is very heavily um, inspired by these European cities. And in doing so, you also get the added benefit of a really extensive tram network for the city, which is something that's going to be a big part of the design of the city. There's going to be a lot of tram lines around, a lot more than other modes of public transport, but there definitely will be uh, metros and trains and uh, buses and things of that sort. Okay, so we're here on the map uh, that I'll be using for Delmere, and it's a map called Juno. Don't cube maps are weird. I don't know what to do about that. But yeah, it's called Juno, not Juno, but it's based on a height map of Juneau, Alaska. I don't know, maybe there's some copyright infringement issue, trademark infringement with the name Juno. I don't know. But yeah, it's originally a snowfall map. So just use environment changer, got rid of the snow, and added the snow-capped peaks myself. Mainly of the urban architect tutorial. It's pretty good, but I'm fairly certain I butchered it. I don't know if this is very realistic, but from a distance it looks just fine. Maybe the lower mountains, not so much, but it works. This thing up here in real life is supposed to be a lake. I messed up this entire thing. Uh, I made it so that that sort of peak in the back looks like the main peak of this area, but I don't know. It's all the way in the back. No one's gonna notice it. I might revisit it later. I have no clue what's going on here. Don't ask me what's going on here. Other than that, let's see. Yeah, I added this sort of river slash canal thing. Not sure if it's the most realistic thing, but I wanted it for the layout of my city, so I've just sort of added it in. It looks fairly natural, but as for realism, I don't know if this is gonna cut it. Again, this is something I'll revisit later. We'll have a look. Maybe we'll have a river running down this sort of valley into this and continuing down. or we could sort of put this up as like a channel running through the city, uh, just diverting water through it or something. I don't know. Uh, yeah, and then sort of expanded the land that was around here just to make a little more space for the city of uh, yeah, uh, because my plans for the city does require a little more space this way. I end up doing a lot of terraforming around here, and we have this sort of back bay area. This might expand a bit more, I don't know, but yeah, there's going to be like the back bay area of the city. We have another big bay here on the sort of outlet. I don't know, straight? Yeah, that's a straight. And we have another bay here. This might get filled in. I might sort of connect these two areas, and this will become part of the city. Not sure, but for the moment, I didn't want to mess with anything around here, so we're gonna leave it that way. Meanwhile, this sort of thing is just gonna become like a regular island part of the city. This is something I wanted to take inspiration from Rotterdam, I believe. I'm just gonna pull up the name of the island real quick. But there's an island sort of thing in Rotterdam that I sort of wanted to make this area inspired by. And I've opened it. It doesn't seem to have a name, but it is. It's right near the Erasmus Bridge in Rotterdam, the Erasmus Bridge. But yeah, there's sort of like an island in the river, and yeah, that's sort of what this is going to become. And we'll see. Even this land might expand a bit outwards. I don't know, because I did want sort of bridges to cross over the bay, and this is probably a little too long. I open this up. It takes a second. Yeah. It doesn't matter what I think. But if I have to cross over like this is what 1.4, 1.5 kilometers, which is a bit long. Over here, your shortest would be maybe 500 meters. That's not bad. This will come out a little further, but even now it's like 750. So, the bridge length over here makes sense. This is a bit far. So, if we decide to bring out the land a little further and from here as well, then you can make it work. Yeah, you can get it to about 800 meters or so, 1,000 max. So, yeah, I'll have to mess around with the landscape to build all the bridges, of course, but that's a long way away right now. All of the planning for that is basically non-existent. Yeah, these networks aren't standard with the map. I think I replaced most of them just using the RON mod, replace our networks, I think. It does come with this cool like bridge. It's got this sort of, that's my phone. Yeah, it's got this sort of embankment, not embankment, but it's got this sort of thing out here. It's made with a bunch of pillars. Yeah, I think it looks fine. We're not going to touch this area, at least not right now, so that's going to be all right. There's a railway line that goes through here as well. I believe I removed most of this. The actual connection we'll work on later, and this entire intersection is going to go away at a later point. But yeah, for the first bit, first 2 episodes, we're going to be working on the downtown area, which will populate sort of this rough region, the sort of rectangle I'm sort of drawing around here. And then as we expand out of that, we'll deal with whatever else is out there. But yeah, if you guys have any feedback about these mountains, I am open to any and all feedback because, I mean, it looks fine from a distance at least. with the depth of field and uh, in general, from a distance, it looks decent, but the moment I go up close, you can tell something from it. What the hell is this over here? Like, detail. Let's move it to there. That's, I don't know. This doesn't seem right, but we'll run with it for now. We also have some snowcat peaks over here. I would argue these are a little more realistic. I feel like over here I sort of messed it up, but this and this are fine. We'll see. They're always going to be in the backup, so I think those will be fine. Other than that, we have a lot of forests. Right here. These came with the map, and then I sort of just went in and made a few changes. I don't think I replaced trees, but I added a few of my own. Uh, I don't remember which exact trees I used. I had it on my forest brush, but I switched computers and now I don't have it. So yeah, I think they're mostly pines, uh, Norfolk pines, and a few others. I think some of Gray Flames pine trees, but I'll have to see. Even the forest, I think, might need a second go at them because in some places they're a bit unnecessarily dense or heavy. Like maybe over here I could use some lower poly trees because if I do zoom in my FPS sort of things, yeah, it's hitting about 50 now, which is not bad, but we have nothing else in the city, and I tend to average 15 FPS with everything built because as of when I'm recording this, I actually have a lot more built and just on an older save. Yeah. Yeah. We also have this port sort of area that comes with the map. I've just left it in. We might actually build a port here. I don't know. Uh, train lines also, yeah. The entire port area we'll figure out later. And uh, yeah. So the main downtown is going to be like sort of up here, and some of it might spill over to the sort of southern, I guess southern, yeah, uh, this southern sort of side. And yeah, as if we expand all this, then it will seem a lot closer than it looks to be right now. Uh, yeah, and then sort of the suburbs will roll out from that up in this direction. Not sure what will happen in this sort of area. My plan for this sort of side is not very developed, let's say. So we have to figure out what will happen over here. But over here, we'll have suburbs crawling out back into these areas. We have this sort of nice, gently sloping hill. So, most of the forest will probably be replaced by some neighborhood, but probably not all the way up here. Or maybe we'll just flatten out most of this hill up here. I don't know. We can see. It's very early fall though, so we'll figure all that out. Uh, but yeah, that's sort of like a better idea of what's to come and quick tour of the map we have for this series. Anyways, uh, I think that's gonna do it. So in the next episode, we will start with the road layouts for the city. Oh well, the core area of downtown, about here, this area. So I'm excited for that, and thank you all for watching. And I'll see you in episode 1, the real first episode where we actually do stuff in the city and don't just fly around aimlessly.